What's up? It's not Peter McKinnon here, it's Tony Thorn. But today I'm telling you a little bit about Peter McKinnon. Who is he? What has he done? And in the end of the video we are going to look some photos with a little thing. Okay, let's go. Peter McKinnon is a Canadian photographer, filmmaker and a YouTuber based on Toronto. He has almost 6 million subscribers on YouTube, over 3 million followers on Instagram and almost 300,000 followers on Vero. He has also made preset packs, LUTs and sound packs that everyone can buy and use them on the videos and photos. He sells a limited edition of prints of her photos he has taken, but half of them has been sold out at this time. Peter has made his own photography gear, for example, everyday backpack, ND filter for the lenses and a camera tool that is like a Swiss army knife for photographers, and that includes also SD card holder. He has also designed a couple of rings with a collaboration with clocks and colors. And he is crazy about coffee, who wouldn't be? So he has made own coffee with a collaboration with James Coffee. In 2019, Peter was named Breakout YouTuber of the Year. In 2020, he received Cinematographer of the Year. Peter's work can be found in numbers of outlets, but biggest personal achievement was having his work photos on 2 special collection coins issued by the Royal Canadian Mint. Unfortunately, all coins are sold out. Peter shoots a lot of landscape and adventure photos and uses a lot of natural light. But sometimes he also uses big scale light, as we can see on his YouTube video Just a YouTuber, where he makes an advertise video and photos to Hyundai Canada. He uses Canon camera gear. At the moment he is using Canon R5 daily basis. His most used lens currently is Canon RF 15 to 35 millimeters. But he has also many other lenses too. Maybe all of them. The lights he uses is aperture lights. So let's get into the photos. Here's the thing. There are 16 photos in the roll, but I have taken 4 of them and 12 are taken by Peter McKinnon. I put numbers on the top right side of the photos, and you can pick the number what you think that has been taken by me. So, let the game begin. So that was it. Leave a comment down there and comment a number that you think that was a photo taken by me, and after a couple of weeks from now I release a behind the scenes video that you can see what was the pictures I took. So you have 2 weeks time to comment numbers. Like the video, subscribe the channel if you haven't done it yet. See you in the next video. Adios. And by the way, I wish I would have this kind of YouTube studio. Unfortunately, it's not. I'm still here in the middle of the renovation. See ya.